Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on the channel. And in today's video, we are going to be going into the Hinsdale house. And it's also known as the Dandy house. And it's another video of most haunted buildings. So stick around and join me as we take a deep dive into the Hinsdale hauntings. Now, the Hinsdale house, also known as the Dandy house, is considered one of the most haunted locations in the United States. It's located in Hinsdale, New York, in the southwest part of the state. The house gained notoriety due to claims of paranormal activity and has been the subject of investigations, books and documentaries related to ghost hunting. The history of the Hinsdale house dates back to the mid-1800s when it was built. Over the years, several families have lived in the house, but it wasn't until the 1970s that it became widely known for alleged supernatural phenomena. The most famous account of paranormal activity at the Hinsdale house is associated with the Dandy family, hence the name. And they lived in this house during the 1970s. Some legends suggest that the Hinsdale house is built on a land of Native American activity where an Indian massacre is said to have occurred. It is believed by some that the property may be haunted by the spirit of a Native American woman. This connection to Native American history adds an additional layer to mystery to the house's lore. Now, going back to the Dandy family, they reported wide range of paranormal phenomena, including seeing apparitions, hearing disembodied voices, and witnessing objects moving on their own. The family claimed to have experienced intense and sometimes frightening encounters and with the supernatural, and most probably a poltergeist. Many reports from the house describe residual haunting phenomenon where events or emotions seem to be replayed as residual energy. This could include hearing phantom footsteps, laughter, or sounds from the past. You could hear gunshots going off and disembodied voices being heard. Clara Dandy, one of the former residents of the house, is often associated with this paranormal activity, and some believe that her spirit continues to reside in the house and may be responsible for the paranormal activity within. Some believe that this Clara Dandy is one of the most powerful spirits in this house. Numerous paranormal investigators and ghost hunters have visited the Hinsdale house to document and study the reported phenomena. It has become a popular destination for those interested in the supernatural, and this is where we move on to our next part in this case, which is the incident of the 72-hour lockdown paranormal ghost hunting show. Let's get into that part. Now, if you've never seen this show, it follows these two presenters, Nick Groff and Katrina. Now, they go to houses, different haunted buildings, castles, insane asylums, prisons, you name it, anything haunted they'll go to. And they spend 24, 72, 100 hours in these places to find out if it's actually haunted. Whether or not if you believe these types of shows, that's entirely your opinion. I'm just here to comment on it. But as Nick and Katrina walk into the house, the lockdown clock starts, and for the next 72 hours the two paranormal investigators will be confined to this haunted property, which is said to be uninhabitable due to the supernatural activity. And in fact, this uninhabitable phrase will come up more probably as we go on, because no one seems to want to buy the house. And it was only a couple years ago that the house was actually brought by someone for people to do investigations in there. And there has been several unsuccessful exorcisms of the house. The property was saved from demolition by a new owner who began to invite investigators in to study its paranormal claims. And that new owner now rents it out for paranormal investigators to come in there and investigate. But as Nick walked in, he said, "I feel drawn to this location. I've been having these weird dreams. I would see this girl appear to me. It's almost like she's warning me about this location." And then Katrina said, "Wherever I go into a place that's had that much activity, something that stays in my head the entire time is, what doors are you opening, and can you ever really close them?" Before the investigation got underway, Nick then said there are warning signs of a demonic possession looking to manipulate our minds and possess our souls. And this just gets further and further more weirded out, because after a quick EVP session around the room with a Panasonic DR60 audio recorder, Nick thought he captured what sounded like a female voice in his recordings. This is when the duo meet, and they meet with Tony Sperrer, a religious demonologist, and the son-in-law of famous demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren, who investigated the home back in the 1970s. Katrina asks Tony how he feels inside the house, and the demonic expert said, "I feel heaviness in my head a lot of times when I go into a haunting. I don't feel that if it's a human spirit." So again, throughout the episode, we're getting more and more clues suggesting that what is haunting this place isn't a human spirit, and it's something more sinister, like a demon. Now, moving on with the episode. As the night falls, Nick and Katrina are then left alone in the house with just their cameraman as they begin their investigation in the basement. Katrina braved the dark and eerie space on her own, and within a few seconds she reported hearing disembodied breathing coming from behind her. Very, very creepy. Moments later, they were then upstairs near Mary's room, which is said to be the most sinister part of the house. Once again, using his EVP recorder, Nick attempted to capture spirit voices. The pair agreed that the scratchy sounds caught on the devices were unmistakably a female voice, which Nick thought was calling him by his name, so they've debunked that female voice there. While Katrina beds down for the night, Nick braves Mary's room, almost choosing to sleep outside the room rather than inside, almost like he's scared of what's in that room. The next morning, they venture out into the forest around the property in search of a tree that might have been old enough to be the site where the unnamed woman has hanged herself. This story just keeps on getting layers and layers to it, and it's really, really interesting. Finding a suitably old tree, Nick once again pulls out the EVP record, and again he said, could a female voice respond? Said he could hear a female voice responding as they called out at the base of the tree. Now, based on this success of the EVP experiment, on the second night, they started their investigation in the forest, which were of course much scarier when it was dark. While outside, Nick was sure he could hear chanting, and moments later, the sound of someone running, which just gives you goosebumps. I mean, I've got them right now. That is incredible to read. Although Katrina, though, couldn't hear it. Before long, the team were forced back inside by the ominous sound of coyotes getting closer. And surprisingly, that seemed to be it for night 2. We see the investigators in the morning, and Nick returns to the woods to continue where they left off the previous night, but again discovers very little other than the area of forest where the trees appeared to be dead. For the final night, Nick and Katrina split up. Nick stays alone in the house, where he hears a loud bang that shook the entire house. And if you watch this episode, the house literally shakes. This bang is huge, and it's almost like a gunshot has went off, much like I read earlier on in this episode. He describes the feeling of a burst of energy rush into Mary's room with him, and sort of pushing him into that room and to the bed. But he moves away, and he said he felt a sensation like something trying to pull him back in, sort of like reeling him back in. He continued to be haunted by knocking sounds, which all came in threes. Bang, 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 which is really creepy, considering that bang, 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 bang is a demonic trait. And if you've seen the Conjuring movie, you know that bang, bang, bang is the sign of a demon, is a sign of the devil, because it's almost like him mocking the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And Nick then captures another EVP in the bedroom. This time he believes he hears the voice is saying, "There's no heaven," which seems to be in direct response to Nick's question, what happens when we die? This case is so creepy. Meanwhile, Katrina was outside in the forest alone where she became unnerved after hearing footsteps walking towards her. She said, "I keep hearing noises out here, and it's freaking me out. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here." After a while, Katrina heard Nick scream from the house and returned to check on him. She found him sat at the bottom of the stairs, but it was never really explained what caused him to scream. Presumably, the moment wasn't caught on Nick's camera. Towards the end of the episode, Nick said, "After 3 days of investigating hardcore, I feel a little broken. I feel mentally out of it." He added that he feels confident and excited about the paranormal activity they captured, which, although minimal, was interesting. This whole case is terrifying. And after this episode, you then head into the 100 Hours at 30 East Drive Halloween special, where before they actually go over to England, they mention him waking up in the middle of the night, heading down to his basement, recording another EVP recording. This is so out of Nick, and if you watch the series, you'll know Nick doesn't do this, and he was sort of pushing Katrina, which is his wife, out of the way and ignoring her. He went down to this basement, recorded another EVP, and this ghost said something like, "Head to 30 East Drive," or "the Black Monk," or "the Black Monk House." They said something like this, and then he believed that the ghost and the demonic entity that was haunting the Hinsdale house is also the same ghost that is haunting 30 East Drive, which is an episode we've also covered on the channel, so please go ahead and watch that as well. But that'll be it for today's video. More creepier one than I would have thought. But if you've enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.